The Dark Souls community saved my life. Hi, this is something new, and I don't know yet if I'm going to follow the script format or if I'm just going to say what comes to mind, but I know I want to talk about some things that have affected me. Games, people, and music being the biggest ones. How I easily empathize with these stories that I'll go on to talk about. So I just wanted to say thank you for even listening to the beginning of this, and I hope my words do come across rambly, because that was intentional. Dark Souls 3 was the first game I ever outright played for over 600 hours. I spent 25 days of my life enveloped in this depressing world where the best outcome for the story is just to let the world be consumed by blackness. Which that ending in its own is beyond beautiful for both narrative and From Software's goodbye to the series. Ashen One, forgive me if this soundeth strange. The eyes shown a world without fire, a vast stretch of darkness. But 'tis different from what I've seen when stripped of vision. In the far distance, I sense a presence of tiny flames, like precious embers, left to us by lords past. Could this be what draws me to this strangely enticing darkness? She gives you hope even when talking of the grand betrayal. Eventually, the embers will come again. I think this speaks how FromSoft felt about the Dark Souls series at the time, Dark Souls 3's release. They, as many others, loved what they created, but it was time to move on and make something else. Just as the fire fades, Ashen One, hearest thou my voice still? I don't know why, but that hit me in the feels, and I can't properly describe why. But I feel like it had a lot of importance for what would follow in my personal life. Josh, Jake, Patricia, Nikki, Manny, and Nelson. Although the first two I won't be talking about today, these people helped me push through the toughest time in my life. 15 years old, 17 years of age was very tough for me, as is for most people. I moved from a town I had been in since I was 8 years old. I had no friends, no one to make friends because it just felt like somehow I would lose those in this new town as well. So I shut myself off from everything. I changed and become reluctant to be around anyone, even my own family. I would just spend all of my time playing video games, particularly Dark Souls 3. I played the story more than I did anything else, and I was summoning help for the Demon Princes, and that's where I met the first of these people. Manny was the one that I summoned. And for some reason, he invited me to a party that I joined, something I would have never done before normally. This boss was just such a pain in the ass that I thought if I talked to this person, maybe I would stand a better chance. Hearing my own voice talk to this complete stranger was weird. I hadn't talked to anyone at that point in weeks, at least not an actual conversation. We wouldn't beat that boss. We tried for hours until he ended up rage quitting and I was left alone again. After having my first genuine human interaction since I had moved to this town, I was having it instantly ripped away. It was heartbreaking for some reason. I had just talked to another person for hours. I was sad, regretful for not beating the boss, and it felt like it was back to being alone. Until he sent me a friend request the next day. In the request, he asked if I needed help still. I had never accepted a friend request with such enthusiasm before. I told him no, and we could just do something in his own world if that was okay, mainly out of the fear of being alone again if he rage quit. He asked if I wanted to do a fight club with him and some of his friends. At that point, even having over 300 hours in, I had never even touched the PvP side before. I didn't really have a choice though, as Nikki and Patricia joined in before I could even answer. These two women would be the reason I see the world the way I do now. Pride, LGBTQ, and trans acceptance were just not a thing in Midwest America. At least not big enough for me to give a damn. But I met these two people who were more flawed and human than any other 2x4 woodblock I had ever met in Middle America. I had troubles at first talking with them because I had grown up with no words being regulated. I could say and do whatever I wanted to whoever I wanted, no action being taken otherwise. These two beautiful women that I very much miss talking to taught me how what I could say and do affects people more than I could ever imagine. Nikki would make me better myself by just fixing my vocabulary. Patricia would make me want to be a better person by how she helped Nikki, even though they might have split and aren't together anymore. Them together helped me come to the idea that human relationships don't have to be negative. I don't have to shut myself off from them because of the pain I might experience. Because I was just in as much pain before I'd even met these people. Nelson was the last one to join, and this amazing man would be the inspiration for me and the inspiration for this in general, what I'm doing now, what I'm talking about. He would somehow be the nicest person I had ever met and also be the biggest come to Jesus person I had ever met. He would time and time again bring the group down from our frustrated states because we played one of the most frustrating fucking games of the last decade. The late night talks I had with him about my own suicidal depression and loneliness, he would put me on a better path. Him being able to flip my twisted view of the world on its head, showing me that if I committed suicide, I did have friends now that would care if I was gone. Helping come to the realization that I did need help, even though this beautiful human being was in my life to help me, I needed to get actual help from a professional. And I cannot thank him enough. I love him. He's the biggest reason I'm still here, and I wish I could repay that debt somehow, but I can only say thank you for how he helped me when I needed it. I miss all of them, and I wish our lives could have remained interconnected, but I will always cherish the memories I have of all of you. These four people are one of the biggest reasons I am alive. I I hope they understand that I cannot properly thank them for how much they helped me, and I hope they understand that I love them with all of my heart, and that I long for the day I can hear all of their voices again. If thou can still hearest my voice, I love you.